to our Tech Up Talks webinar series. My name is Cecilia Hatton from Tech Up for Women. It is a pleasure for me to have the opportunity to introduce Laura Clayton McDonnell from ServiceNow. Before I turn it over to Laura, there is a chat box at the bottom of your screen. If you have any questions, please submit them. And after the presentation, we will go over some of those questions with Laura. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you so much, Cecilia. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. It's truly a pleasure to be a part of this Tech Up Talks program. So thank you so much for the invitation and the opportunity to chat about how we can deliver great employee experiences in the new normal. First of all, I'd like to say before I begin, I wish everyone is healthy and safe. For anybody that's experiencing any health issues, I do hope that you have a speedy recovery, and for anybody who's lost a loved one, may peace be with you. It truly is unprecedented times, and at ServiceNow, we're focused on really helping our customers and helping our employees and helping our communities be safe and healthy. So we've been doing a lot of focused work around that. And speaking of our customers, I just can't imagine what they have been going through. It truly is a roller coaster. When you think about it, when the crisis hit, it was really about how do we get folks set up so they can work from home. And then it went to sort of the heartbreaking news that in some cases employees needed to be furloughed. And we were there to help support our customers. And now we're in a position where we're thinking about what are the different scenarios about returning to work. And that's what we're really talking about here. Some of the observations that we've made, in particular for ServiceNow, we leveraged our platform to help us keep the same level, in some cases, improve productivity for our employees. And we've been able to make a transition that's been seamless of 11,000 employees to work from home. What we've noticed about some of our customers are those who are focused on digital transformation and they're in their journey, well, they're better equipped to deal with this crisis. And then for those customers who are lagging behind, this is the time for them to accelerate their digital transformation process. What we've been able to do for certain of our customers is help them through this crisis, because that's what it is. And how can we offer to them emergency customer care types of apps at no charge to help manage? For government agencies that are trying to schedule the different tests, we've been able to develop a way to manage the onslaught of applications for testing. For companies who are been just inundated by requests for emergency paid leave, we've been able to help them with a mobile app to manage those requests. The bottom line is that we need to have a platform to run our business that's not just about delivering outcomes and generating revenue and delivering great experiences, but we need to be able to manage through a crisis like the one that we're experiencing now. But we know at the heart of it is that we've got to continue to deliver great employee experiences in this new normal. And that's what we're going to talk about here, what's driving that and what we can do. But before I continue, let me just continue to introduce myself, Laura Clayton McDonnell, Vice President for Enterprise Sales for the East for ServiceNow. My career has been in leading organizations, sales organizations, legal organizations, through all kinds of change and transformation, but with a particular focus on our customers, helping them to deliver business outcomes that they desire, help them to deliver great experiences for their employees and for their customers, and drive productivity. And once again, I'm excited to be here to share some thoughts and ideas about this new business imperative that we're faced with. The new business imperative is that we need to use digital transformation to help us deliver these great experiences with our employees. This crisis has presented us with an opportunity to accelerate that transformational effort. So let's talk a little bit about the impact of COVID-19 in the workplace. When we think about it, it's really about adapting to these new ways of working. And it's also about making sure that we have insights to our employees, to our customers, and to our business operations. There's dynamic change that's happening, and it's going to require us to be dynamic when it comes to innovation. And so that feeds into what are we doing to be ready? Making our workforce ready, making the workplace ready. 42% of employees are now working from home. In fact, it could be even higher as a percentage compared to before the crisis. Many employees, they want that flexibility about where they work and how they work. Think about the scenarios. Some of them have children who are of school age, so they're doing homeschooling. They may have elderly parents that require care. There may be another kind of scenario, but employees want the flexibility to choose where they work. The next learning is that the return to work is going to require careful planning and execution. It is one that is at the very heart of it. We need to ensure the safety and health of our employees. And so we've got to be very careful about how we transition to the workplace. Agility is key. And to get that level of agility, you need to look at your digital transformation program and accelerate it. And then lastly, the need for business functions to work together has never been more important. And we're going to talk more about that later, but this is what the impact is on the workplace. What does that mean, though, for us is we're thinking about the program for how we return to the workplace. You can think about it as 3 phases. And look, these are hypothetical phases. We know that they'll change. You're going to iterate upon them. They could be dependent upon your job function, your geography, your industry, and how you run your business. But think about it in these 3 buckets. The first bucket is critical workers, those folks that just absolutely cannot work from home. They're not productive at home. They have limited productivity. Perhaps there's no physical collaboration that's required, but what's really important is that to get their work done, they actually need to be in the workplace. The key term to think about here is for those employees, it's about making assignments for designated spaces, whether they're office space or conference rooms or resources or desks, to really make sure that you can manage their interactions with folks, because you want to be conscious still of the guidelines regarding safety in terms of density, physical distancing. All of those are still in place, but it's important that they know that that desk is their desk, that space is their space, so that they have that level of comfort and safety and ensure their health too. The second phase, this is about workers who voluntarily want to come to the workspace. They feel that they're going to be much more productive there. They want a flexibility to do that. And the key term here is reservations, making a reservation for the use of that desk or that conference room or a resource in order to assist and facilitate your collaboration. Now, the collaboration is not a lot because you're still, once again, conscious of health and safety requirements that are out there. You want to adhere to the guidelines regarding that, but you're going to give that level of flexibility to employees. The third phase is the new normal, where anybody who wants to be in the workplace can be in the workplace. But once again, you still have that level of making a reservation for that space. You may have folks in shifts. Collaboration is okay, but with all of these phases, you're still maintaining that level of sanitation and health requirements that are really important. Once again, these are sort of hypothetical buckets and ways of thinking about returning to the workplace. But there's one challenge that will still remain, and that is one that's going to inhibit our ability to deliver the great employee experiences. So I'd like to talk about that. What I mean by that is that work occurs in unstructured ways through different systems of record. And you're probably thinking, well, what does that really mean? So think about when you first join an organization for the first time and you get to choose your laptop. Well, you got to connect with IT, or you need to sign up for direct deposits. You got to connect with payroll, or you need to sign up for your health benefits. So you got to connect with HR. These are all different functions, departments. They have their own systems of record, that is data and information about you. They have the way that they sort of process the application or request that you're making, but they don't really talk to each other. They don't collaborate with each other. What's the result of this? They're in silos, and these silos are driving a negative experience for an employee. What's also happening is that many of these systems of record are actually legacy systems, and they're very costly to try to get them to knit them together to collaborate. the bottom line is that work does not flow the way that you work in these environments where this challenge occurs. So what do you want? What do you need? You need a digitized workflow. You need to look at the process, see the workflow, digitize that, so you can have a unified experience that drives that kind of collaboration across the functional areas. You know, at ServiceNow, we have this ServiceNow platform. It's basically the foundation for all the workflows that occur in a business. It's one platform, one architecture, one data model. And what it does, it connects to systems of record in an integrated way. It communicates with these systems. So you may have your finance system in SAP or marketing in Adobe, and you're able to integrate those with the Now platform. You're also able to access great, wonderful, 100% native applications, IT, employee workflows, customer workflows, and design your own applications that are reflective of the workflow that's happening in your business. And the last thing is that you get to choose the omni-channel that you want, whether you want to access that experience through mobile, web, or conversational, Slack, or Teams. Look, the bottom line is that it connects functions, systems to drive innovation, increase business agility, and unlock productivity. It's actually what we use to make the transition from work from home for 11,000 employees. There are three things to think about as you're thinking about leveraging technology, whether it's ServiceNow or other technologies, to design a program where you're bringing folks back into the workplace. It's about information, it's about automation, and it's about safety. The first, about informing employees. This is where you could use technology, whether it's a targeted campaign. In fact, one of the leading thinkers in this area, Josh Bersin, has said that 82% plus increase in total number of campaigns. Well, what do I mean by that? You're proactively informing employees about the workplace, about the readiness of it. It's very targeted. Even more importantly, you're getting feedback from employees. You're asking them, how are they doing? What are they feeling? What is it that you can do more in terms of providing support? You know, at ServiceNow, like other companies, every year we have an employee voice survey where we ask questions, making sure that employees are engaged and are supportive. But we also launched a pulse survey because of the crisis, so we can be even more refined about the kind of support that we're providing with employees. This is one of the recommendations that we have. Continue to gather that feedback from employees, and even more importantly, take action to help ensure that employees are supported in this crisis. And then make sure that you provide information in a way that's easily accessible. So that omni-channel of choice, web, mobile, conversational, that's absolutely critical in this time. Secondly, automating the steps for returning. We have examples of how taking the steps that you need to pursue in order to access your work, information, it's important that it gets automated, digitized, so folks understand what it would take to be ready to go back to work or the workplace itself. You need to plan for this. You need to put together assignments and tasks. There's a scheduling that needs to occur, and there's different technologies that are available, whether it's workplace service delivery, other kinds of transition and onboarding technologies that will assist. It's a financial crisis too that's happening in addition to the health crisis. And we're seeing that even with that happening, 78% of organizations are still investing in onboarding, in fact, investing more, and they're investing through the automation to make sure that it's a streamlined way to deliver great experiences for employees to understand what it takes for them to not only return, but do their work. And then lastly, and probably even more importantly, we got to continue to create that safe, employee-ready working environment. So how do you ensure that it's safe to return, it's healthy? How do you ensure you have visibility to the requirements and guidelines for safety and health? How do you notify employees? You can use all kinds of technology. We have workplace scheduling that will schedule folks' time in the office, the different kinds of tasks that are involved. Look, 55% or more employees are planning to return to the office. But this gives a level of flexibility when you can present an environment that's safe, when you automate the steps of returning, and when you have the ability to inform employees and keep them abreast of changes in the environment and safety and health requirements. Quick checklist for return to office. When we're talking about this, it's an opportunity for us to deliver to employees a great experience, one in which they want to spend time in the office, they want to collaborate with their teammates, and the first thing, and really more importantly than anything else, is really about health and safety. Keeping employees focus on their work will only occur if we allow for them to have a healthy and safe environment. But even more importantly, it's that level of flexibility that we want to give employees so they can choose where to work. As we mentioned before, the scenarios vary. And when we give employees the ability to take that scenario and decide where they want their work to occur, because traditional workplaces now have gone away, then we are engaging with employees. We're delivering to them a great experience in this new normal. Look, it's important to inform, be proactive about the communications with employees, and listen to the feedback and act on it. Next, the steps of automation. It's only one of those steps when it comes to digital transformation, but it's an important step that you can take in order to be prepared not only to address the crisis and support your employees, but continue to grow your business and the environment itself to be healthy and safe. So those are some of the things that we think about when we think about this new normal and continuing to deliver a great employee experience. And again, I want to thank Cecilia and the team for allowing me the opportunity to share some of this information. Be safe, be healthy.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you for your time. That was so informative. We do have some questions here. So let me start with the first question I have here. What do you think will be the biggest long-term problem with lack of face-to-face for real collaboration and networking?
I think the biggest long-term problem is that at the heart of it, we are social beings. And that level of collaboration and communication is one that we're going to have to think about a different way to still accomplish that connection. Because when you boil it down, we're all sort of in this tribe together and you want to feel connected. And so I think the biggest challenge that we're going to have is how do you continue to maintain that level of connectedness, social interaction. And we do have a set of tools, the technology tools that are available to us. We're all very familiar with them, whether it's Zoom, what we're doing today, or Slack, or Teams. There are different ways for us to try to address that challenge. But that's probably going to be one of the biggest ones that we will have. And think about what we're teaching our children about how to really be proactive and purposeful about making sure you have those connections.
Thank you. Thank you. Second question here is, what is your suggestion to become an innovator or a better team player when you're stuck without a lot of interaction between departments?
Yeah, that is a challenge. Clearly we see that innovation is going to be sort of the heart of, growing our economy. And when you're in silos or you're stuck in a particular function, it's hard to get to that level of innovation. Studies have been shown about innovation is driven by that diversity of thought, diversity of experience, diversity of opinion. In fact, when you have teams that are diverse, they actually are more creative and more innovative than others. So once again, we're in a position now that we've got technology that's available to us to kind of drive that level of collaboration. So the physical distancing should not inhibit our ability to collaborate. In fact, we can use the technology to help us cross those barriers and connect through different, like I said, collaboration tools or conversational tools to make it happen. But the heart of it is we need to choose to do that and be purposeful about creating that level of innovation. And sometimes it begins with starting with one thing that you've noticed that in common you have, a task or an issue with another group, and really reaching out and making that connection with them and saying, look, let's put together a plan to make that connection turn into more of an innovative way of addressing it. But this is going to require it. It's interesting, sort of a societal sort of experiment that we have. Can folks still maintain that level of connectedness when we are physically distant? And there are different ways that folks can do it, but I think we can use some of the tools at hand to help us with that.
The new norm.
It's the new norm. That's right.
I have, again, it's an honor to have you here. Laura, one question that we have here is, now this is a little personal more, but how your career started and led to your current role.
Yeah, thank you for that. Well, I mean, it's a little bit of, when I think about my career, I really think about my parents, which is kind of an interesting connection, but I think about what they instilled in us, in that, you hear the saying that seeing is believing, but in my family, it's believing is seeing. And it's believing in yourself, believing in your goals, believing in your dreams, and accomplishing that. And that's sort of one of the driving forces for me in terms of where I am today, is having a belief like that. And I'm so fortunate that they helped instill that in me. The second piece of it, because as you see in my career, it's law and business, that for law, the second sort of thing from my parents is really, being in a position where you can give back to the community and help the community, and fight for justice and equality. And they had some circumstances, some scenarios that happened with them where they were discriminated against. And that actually drove my desire to be a lawyer and be that individual that sort of fights for others and equality and social justice. And then it just sort of morphed over time, being open to, this is the third thing they taught me is really about having that growth mindset and being open to learning, being that lifelong student that is open to new challenges and new ideas and experiences. So I've been really lucky to have them be such a great influence that really, I'm here today because of them. And so that's kind of how I ended up here.
That's wonderful. The importance of education and to be a strong woman and move forward. That's fabulous. Fabulous. And I have one final question here, Laura. How would you integrate the state/local requirement of social distancing?
Yeah. When I think about that requirement, and folks call it social distancing, but I really think about it as physical distancing, because I want to separate the fact that there's a physical nature to it, but we don't want to lose that connectedness to individuals and people. And so what we've done at ServiceNow, because clearly we're a company that's global, we adhere to the laws and the rules and the regulations and the guidance of the local area. And so what we've been able to do is, like I said, we're kind of in the early stages too. The advice that I've given in terms of the checklist for return to office, we're actually applying it for ourselves and thinking through, how do we arrange for a work environment where you can have that level of social distance, or physical distance in this case, and still have folks come into the office. And so we're thinking that through. So we're in the process of that. But I will talk about some things that are kind of fun, even with the physical distancing that occurs. In our neighborhood, there was a woman who had her 21st birthday. She was about to go to Greece to celebrate. She couldn't because of the crisis. So we did a car parade to help celebrate her birthday. So we all got in our cars and drove around by her house and waved and honked our horns to celebrate, to continue to kind of, celebrate a milestone for her and still maintain that level of connectedness. We're physically distant, but we're still with you. We're still connected with you. We still want to celebrate. We see you, we hear you. And that was a lot of fun. So I think we're going to have that level of creativity when it comes to the workplace too.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Mhm.
Well, I think that ends our Tech Up Talk webinar series with you, Laura.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was so informative in today's world, and stay healthy and well. And we look forward to hopefully having you on our main stage at Tech Up for Women conference in November.
I am looking
We'll keep
forward
our
to that.
fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And thanks, everyone. Stay healthy and
Thanks,
safe.
Laura. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.